Advance to the next round as well. All right, so you guys worth this game?
Yeah, I'll be honest. When I saw the time of the game and what time we had to get up and saw the fixtures, I wasn't overly excited. But actually, it was a really entertaining game.
Proper cup tie, as you guys are saying.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Birmingham's style of play. I thought they approached the game really well. Leeds pretty slow in the first half, but they had a reaction, and then all of a sudden the game just opened up and it just became a slogfest, didn't it? It was
from the start to the finish, and I'm including the extra time. Normally, when you go into extra time, both sides go a little safe, and so you generally don't really get an awful lot of all-out attacking. This is one of the best extra times I've seen in a long time. Yeah. Both sides.
We're going
for both 15-minute periods, we're going at it. Now, unfortunately, in the final third, they weren't quite as good as they could have been. But as a spectacle, fantastic. Desire and fight, competitive, just all the things that you want to see.
If Birmingham keep playing like that, they'll definitely go for a playoff push, in my opinion.
All right, well, as we said, Leeds came out victors in that one. Let's hear from Daniel Farka after the game.
What were you thinking when Birmingham City equalised and then almost scored another?
Yes, it's football. So we had problems in the first half. They were by far the better side in the first half. We changed our setup then and brought a bit more muscle on the pitch with our leader, Islam Padu. Won the momentum back in the second half, step by step, went in lead. But it's football, yeah. Sometimes there's even a deflected strike in the 90th minute. And then you have to get on with this sucker punch. And we showed again resilience. Could have perhaps decided the game already in extra time. But if it was not to be, it was always clear that we have to go then for the penalties. Well taken penalties. Lucas Perry in goal was great, so overall good win.
Jan, what did you make of the game? As the guy said, a proper cup tie.
Well, it was like two boxers going out like Rocky Balboa in the first rounds when they don't take off his hands. They just go out and knock each other. I mean, unbelievable. And when I see games like this, I don't miss my football because I know how intense it is. I know how tough it is. I know you're doing that for 120 minutes. And as Stevie was saying, I mean, this was entertainment. And I love to see that because I think the FA Cup is a bonus. FA Cup is like the dessert because your daily bread is in the league, in the Championship or in the Premier League. Birmingham so close to get into the playoffs. So the FA Cup, just go for it. And afterwards you think, well, we don't regret it. We should have done more. And for Leeds United, they are in a... I mean, you can see the position of West Ham has kind of turned the Premier League around. But I think things like this is good for Leeds. It's good for their self-confidence. Yes, it's another game, but it's also a bit of gain of self-confidence. So that was, again, we used the phrase typical FA Cup game.
Jan, when you see a pitch like that, does it bring back memories? Does it make you want to go back out there and play?
Well, it just keep me remember when I played in Grimsby. It was exactly the ground that time as well. I mean, you say that we would love to play. We just played on these for the whole 90s. And Stevie played there in the 80s probably. And that's how the pitches were like. Imagine how good we were, Stevie, on these surfaces. Imagine how good we will be today. I mean, unbelievable.
Scary.
Stevie, you played on a couple of pitches like that.
You try passing and moving. Other people go, let's passing and moving, lovely.
Side to side, yeah.
And then they just go, okay, there you go. Get through that. Pass where you're passing and moving. Good luck.
Kieran, thankfully, we're of an era where things have since improved very well. We're probably the princesses of football nowadays. But looking at that pitch, would you ever go? I mean, I'm sure you must have played some backyard footy in those conditions.
No, I mean, I remember a couple of cup ties. We had a Bradford away. I remember the pitch there. I think I played against Leyton Orient away. So I'm not too much of a diva. I've done my fair share of dodgy pitches.
Kieran's well-armed. He knows that. He knows that. All right, well, let's have a look at some of the other results from around the fourth round of the FA Cup. There you can see Chelsea with a 4-0 win over Hull City. Stevie's Liverpool managed to get the job done over what can always be a tricky Brighton. But tomorrow is the big one. The giant slayers that have won the hearts of many. Macclesfield Town will be going up against yet another Premier League side. Remember, they took out Crystal Palace, the defending champions of the FA Cup last time around. Now they're going up against Brentford. All right, Macclesfield, who have absolutely captured the hearts of many. And right now, it's a massive pleasure to welcome Macclesfield record goal scorer Danny Elliott, who's joining us from his car. Danny, I hope we didn't make you wait too long. But I mean, it's a brilliant moment to be living in Macclesfield right now. Just tell us how excited everybody is for what is yet to be another big clash against Brentford.
It's crazy. There's such a buzz around the town. You know, it's such a brilliant thing to be a part of. I was really disappointed not to be able to play. I've had quite a bad injury, so my season's been cut short. But just to be able to see my mates, you know, playing against people that we watch on TV every weekend is really special.
You know, it's funny, Danny. Of all the questions I'm sure you've been asked since that game, this is going to be the most important one. Have you bought a beer in the local pub since that win?
No, I don't think we have, and I don't think we will for a while. You know, straight after the game, I don't know if you've seen any pictures or videos or anything, but we've got a bar at the ground, and the chairman said, you know, the bar's open, so all the lads were going behind the bar and still wearing their kits, pouring pints and doing their flip-flops in their boots, and it was a brilliant night. You know, it's a special football club. It's incredible. You know, it's very different to a lot of other football clubs.
You've drawn against Brentford. What's the approach from the manager, from the players? Is there a game plan? Are you just taking it in your stride? How are you approaching this next round?
You know what, Kieran? I think there's a bit more confidence than there was with the Palace game. You know, obviously we're playing against top class players, so nobody's kind of getting ahead of themselves. You know, we know it's going to be a tough game. We're going to require a stroke of luck, but you know, with the Palace game, I think we were good for it. You know, we did really well in the game. You know, it wasn't as if they had 30 shots and we kind of held on for as long as we could. You know, we were really good for the win, and it's funny because we're preparing for Brentford, and you know they've obviously got a long throw, which is a big threat, but. I mean, it's a strange analogy to make, but we've played against a lot of teams in our league this year that deal with long throws and direct football. So it's something that we're not too, it's not too different to what we come up against, you know. So I'm sure they're going to bring a lot of quality, but we're just really excited about it. You know, we know it's going to be a night to remember. Yeah,
we know it's definitely going to be a night to remember, but it feels like such a big David versus Goliath matchup as well, that we know people talk about the magic of the FA Cup, but the truth is there is no magic. You guys definitely are here for a reason. There's a lot of, I'm sure, blood, sweat and tears behind that. For those of us over on this side of the world, of the US, what would you like the public to know about this current crop of Macclesfield players?
I think this current crop of Macclesfield players are a very special group. I don't know how much you guys are aware, but we actually lost one of our teammates back in December, Ethan McLeod. He was a 21-year-old striker, and he passed away in a car accident after a game that we had. He was driving back home from a game. He drove directly to the game, not on the team bus, as he lived in a different direction, and he passed away. That incident is something that we don't prepare for. You know, it's something that was so shocking as a group, and it's definitely brought the group closer together. And I think with this FA Cup run, you know, he's with us. You know, we want to carry on his legacy, spread his name, and use him as a driver for our FA Cup run. You know, he was a very special person. He was loved very much by the group, and long may he be remembered.
You know, I was thinking, Danny, this game in some ways is a good draw for you, because it seems to me that Brentford are pretty similar to what Crystal Palace were made of. You know, a team that are well organised, and they're quite a physical side. Yes, they can play, but that physical side was certainly what they would put up against most Premier League sides. So has it been a similar sort of, not team talk as of yet, but a similar words from the manager about how you go about it? Because it seems to me you can pretty much make sure you do the same things you did against Palace. It'd be a lot easier to just go and do the same thing against Brentford.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we're confident in our structure. And, you know, like I say, we're under no illusions. You know, they're going to bring a lot of quality. I think it's almost, we've done ourselves no favours, really, because I think in hindsight, Palace probably underestimated us a little bit, whereas I don't think Brentford will. You know, I think they'll take it very, very seriously. Not that Palace didn't, but, you know, I think they'll play a very strong team. But, you know, I do think that our surface comes into play a little bit. You know, being an artificial surface, it's something that these top players won't play on regularly and won't be used to. So we're just going to try and use everything to our advantage, really. You know, be as organised as we can, cause them problems when we can, and you know, hopefully find their weaknesses as quickly as possible.
And Danny, of course, we just saw the quick feature where I think it would surprise many to know that a couple of the lads have part-time jobs, that, you know, football cannot be their 100% career path. So just talk to us about what it's like, I suppose, playing with them and the sacrifices that they've had to make.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the English football pyramid system means that a lot of the players that have been in top academies until they were kind of 16, 17, 18 and have found themselves still enjoying their football, you know, still earning some money from football, but having to go into other work. So we've got school teachers, we've got people that work in factories. One of the lads owns a gym. I've got a property business myself. A lot of the lads have got different things around their football, and that's a means of supporting their lifestyle, obviously, away from football. But, you know, we take football very, very seriously, and it's brilliant to be able to highlight the talent that's in non-league, you know, beating Crystal Palace and showing that the gap isn't as big as some people might necessarily think, because we are just normal lads, and it's brilliant for some of these boys to be able to get the recognition that they deserve for all their hard work, you know, because we still have the dedication, we still have the motivation and the dreams and goals that a lot of these top players have, and dedicate their lives to football. They just have a lot of other interests as well, obviously, because that's necessary financially. But it's brilliant for these boys to be able to get the recognition they deserve, I think, because, you know, a lot of these players have given a lot of their lives to football.
Well, I mean, I know that footballers like to tell me that they take everything game by game, but let's say you do manage to be giant slayers again and take down Brentford tomorrow and the draw is made. Who would you fancy a crack at in the next round? Because I have a former Liverpool player beside me. I have a former Arsenal player beside me. And of course, you've played a lot of your games at home. So would you like a big away day maybe at Anfield or the Emirates?
You know, this is something that has been a non-stop discussion in the change rooms, as you can imagine. Dreaming who we might potentially play. And you know, in the last couple of rounds when we've drawn Brentford and we've drawn Crystal Palace, obviously everyone's really excited. But, you know, the dream is one of those historically biggest clubs in the country away. You know, you want to play in front of 60, 70,000 people. And, you know, it's probably benefited us playing Palace at home rather than at Selhurst Park. But, you know, if we were to beat Brentford, I think that big away day would be what everybody deserves, you know.
Well, I've got to say, Danny, I can go on record and say tomorrow I am a Macclesfield fan.
We are all Macclesfield tomorrow.
We're rooting for you, man. We're rooting for you.
Until you draw Arsenal and have to go to the Emirates, and then Kieran will be cheering against you.
Thank you very much, guys. I'll let the lads know, definitely.
Danny Elliott, thank you so much for joining us. We wish all you guys all the best tomorrow. You at least have 3 new fans here that will be cheering you on.
Cheers, Danny.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Danny. Cheers, top man.
All right, well, the big one for Danny and Macclesfield is tomorrow, less than 24 hours away now as they go up against Premier League side Brentford. That's 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, but join us 30 minutes before for the pre-show on ESPN+. And then, of course, we will be talking all about that result, win, lose, or draw for Macclesfield on ESPN FC tomorrow. Plus, we will definitely know who either team gets as the draw will take place. More reaction to that on tomorrow's show.